Hello guys, in this video we will paint a Christmas ball with a red striped bow. The ribbon is black and white on the reference, but it doesn't matter as I will show you the main principle and you will be able to paint it in any color. For this painting I'm using 100% cellulose paper by Clairefontaine and also 3 watercolors, Payne's Grey by Gogh, Cadmium Red Deep by PVC and Cadmium Yellow Deep by Payne. You will need 2 round brushes. I'm using number 4 by Silver Brush and number 0 by Pebble. Let's get started. I already prepared the sketch and now I will remove the pencil lines with a kneadable eraser. Prepare your color mixes on the palette and let's start with a mix of Payne's Grey and water. I cover the darkest parts of the ribbon with this light mixture, as it will represent the shadows on the white parts of the ribbon, because we have dark stripes and light stripes and we cannot leave the white space in watercolor, we have to cover it with color anyway. In watercolor, we normally start by painting the lightest parts of the image, because in the next layer I can paint red stripes and darker parts on top of the first layer. So first layer normally it's the lightest one. While the surface is still wet, I can apply darker shade. On this image and in this ribbon, I see that darker shades will be next to the center of the bow. While the first layer gets dry, I prepare mix for the red stripes. I'm mixing Cadmium Red Deep and Payne's Grey on the palette. And I start painting with a very light mix of Cadmium Red Deep and Payne's Grey. And while the surface is still wet, I'm adding a little bit of red color on the both edges of the bow. because normally the highlight, the lightest part of the object, will be in the center. Well, if we are talking about the bow. And we are moving to the vertical ribbon. And before you paint the stripes on this ribbon, analyze the reference and think about thin lines and thick lines and color on this ribbon. So you see there is a small part of the ribbon that goes curvy, and I'm not painting it straight. I'm making the curvy line as I see it on the reference. And again, I'm starting with a very light red color at the top of the ribbon, and then I will add darker color while the surface is still wet. And I'm moving to the next part. I also start with a very light red color. And please take a look at the reference and pay attention to the interesting twist that we have on the ribbon. By repeating lines on the reference and by controlling the shade of the color, making some parts dark and some parts lighter, we actually make our painting look more realistic. I'm painting the center part of the bow and also apply the light red color first and then add darker color at the top and at the bottom of this part that I'm painting. Once we've done painting the bow, we can move to painting a Christmas ball. And we start by covering the whole surface of the ball with clean water. Then I apply a light mix of Payne's gray and water to the wet surface of the ball. I marked some of the highlights on the ball when I was making a sketch, so I will avoid painting these parts as I intend to keep them white. Now with a darker mix of Payne's gray, I will paint the holder of the Christmas ball. The most important thing to remember when painting the metallic or glass objects is to keep the highlights, because it represents shining on the objects and they look more natural. You can leave your Christmas ball as it is right now, or you can add some object in the middle. I decided to add some golden star in the middle of the Christmas ball. For painting this golden star, I will use cadmium yellow dip and also mixes of yellow and red, and also yellow, red, and a little bit of Payne's gray for the darkest parts. And I start by covering the surface of the star with a very light color, mix of yellow and red, and I leave some thin lines that represents the highlight on the star. Then I add a little bit darker color at the bottom of the star and on the left side. And to make this Christmas ball really shiny, I add some dots with a bronze color by Van Gogh. I really like how it shines, and I like to paint a lot of Christmas illustrations adding this color. So if you have it in your palette, you can add it right now. If you don't have it, you can leave just a star in the middle or just add some small stars with a mix of yellow and red. Now we are making the final touches and some details, and I want to add some darker lines on the edges of the Christmas ball. So I'm taking my zero round brush and Payne's gray with water. I hope that you liked this tutorial, and if you are going to share your painting by this tutorial on Instagram, you can tag me and add hashtag Alexandrina Gallery, and I will share your painting to my stories. Thank you for watching and follow my channel for more painting tutorials.